Hi everyone, it's Cheryl. Oh my goodness, I can't believe it's been over a month since I have posted a video. Let me tell you, my world went crazy by about the end of November. I had 3 markets in a row. I had my own Christmas stuff. I had the kids, my grandkids had some programs and all of that type of stuff. And I'm telling you, my world got away from me. So I so apologize that I was just MIA. I'm sorry. So given that, I'm back. I'm gonna try and do better. And one thing you'll notice is I am not at home. I am in my work office. I'm getting ready to leave, but I think I'll be doing some videos from here. I'm going to try and set up a nice little background here, because the last couple of videos I did at home, the dogs would bark, the doorbell would ring, the TVs were on, and it was just chaos trying to get a video. So at the end of my office hours, when I'm here at work, I plan on trying to get videos done where it's a little quieter. So that's my plan, and I'm hoping to have one a week. I think it would be pushing it if I had more than that, but I'm going to shoot for one and see if I can get that. So in this video, I have several things. I want to do a roundup for last year, only take a couple minutes, kind of talk about where I'm headed this year. But one of the first things I want to do is I want to insert the video here. I call it Meet the Teacher. And I've mentioned this before early on when I started my crochet channel. I wanted to do this. I wanted you to meet the person that taught me how to crochet, and that is my aunt. It's my mother's sister. And so I was in her neck of the woods, and I had to stop in, and so I'm going to insert it here. Meet my sweet aunt. Here it is. Hey everyone, it's Cheryl from Cheryl's Creations. Oh, we got a light thing going here. We'll just do it this way. All right. I am here. I have been wanting to do this little segment since I started doing my videos. And this is the Meet the Teacher. This is my aunt. This is my mom's sister. Her name is Joyce, and she's the one that taught me how to crochet. They lived in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, and I remember being up there one time, and I remember sitting on the floor in front of her with a hook and a little bit of yarn, and by the time we left, I think I had a granny square.
Oh my goodness.
And so that's how I got started almost 50 years ago.
Oh my goodness.
So she is part of my, the addiction to the yarn, because you've seen all my yarn type things.
It's okay. Nothing wrong with that. There was my time too.
There you go. So I wanted her to kind of maybe tell you how she got started crocheting. And she was telling me just a few minutes ago. So why don't you tell them how you got started?
When we were in the Upper Peninsula, Michigan, well, I better start back up a little bit. My great-grandmother, Broombaugh, taught me how to do a chain when we were on vacation one time in Pennsylvania. But she was going to teach me more the next year. The only thing was the Lord took her home, and so she couldn't teach me anymore. So I sat for many years wanting to learn how to crochet. I was teaching kindergarten, first and second grade in Moran, Michigan, and my teacher's aide, I happened to say something to her. The next day she came in with a hook and a ball of yarn. And needless to say, she was an excellent teacher. She taught me to crochet without a book or instructions. She taught me all kinds of steps. Then she turned around, taught me how to read the book. You know, how to read the instructions of everything that I had already learned to do. That was the best thing for me. But I wouldn't trade it for the world. I've done everything from mittens. Up there in Michigan, we had to have at least 2 pair of mittens on at a time. You take the top one off when it got wet and put the next one on and so forth. Shawls, a maternity dress. I've made, oh, my goodness, I really should quit doing this. All kinds of blankets and little tiny dolls, only so big. Remember when you could buy those little itty bitty? No, you guys wouldn't remember the dinosaur. But they were little tiny dolls that we used to be able to get. They were only about an inch, inch and a half tall. And I could crochet little dresses for them. It was just something that was a lot of fun. But being in the Upper Peninsula, I didn't have a whole lot else to do except teach school and crochet. Well, be a preacher's wife, I guess.
Yeah.
But
well, you got snowed in a lot.
oh, got snowed in a lot, yes.
Yeah.
Because that's the real winter up there.
Yeah. We crocheted when crochet wasn't cool.
Yeah.
Now it's cool.
Yeah, I noticed that. In fact, I picked it up the other day. I think I'm going to attempt to do a little more crocheting. See if my left hand will do it since the stroke. It holds things fairly well, so I'm going to see if I can't once again get back to... I got to do something. Legos is not enough and neither in puzzles, so I'm going to have to do something.
Well, you know, if Llama Mama Kayla can crochet with 2 fingers on each hand, you can crochet with 5 fingers in a stroke.
I'll try. I'll let you know.
All right, everybody. I just wanted you to kind of see where all of this started. I wanted you to meet my aunt. And we will keep you updated on and see if we can get her back into some crochet.
Ooh. Okay.
See you, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay. I hope you enjoyed that. She's such a sweet individual. Bless her heart. She taught me something that has transcended my whole life. It has given me a lot of opportunities. I have met people, I have done things, I've created, and it is serving its purpose. And I'm hoping, I have taught my granddaughter. My daughter is like, but my granddaughter got some good potential there. I think you've kind of seen her on and off. So, I hope that was an interesting little piece for you. All right. So wrap up from last year, from 2024. Holy cow. There were 2 times during the year, September into early October, and then late November into the first couple weeks of December, that I had 3 back-to-back shows. Actually, in the fall, I had 4 back-to-back. I'm not sure that I'm going to do that again. 2 in a row, but boy, when you put that 3rd one in, it really creates some havoc, especially with having inventory and the energy to go do that. So I'm going to kind of watch my scheduling of my craft shows. One of the things that I'm working on, I have made a connection to possibly get into having a booth at the Howard County Fair here in Indiana. And Howard County is the county just south of me. and they have a huge fair every year. And I met someone who sets up in an industrial tent, and their fee is 10% of your gross income for the whole week. The tent is sponsored by a local farmer, because I think it's actually on the edge of his land. But he just says, 10% of what you make, it is very secure. You can leave your stuff up, no issues. The gal did sublimated tumblers, and she sold almost $9,000 worth of inventory in that one fair week last year. And so she paid, I think she had to pay him like $890 for her booth. But you know what? If you make $9,000, I'm not sure that $900 would really be that bad of a booth fee. So something I'm working on, I'm hoping to do, which means that I got to get myself in gear, because I would need to have around, or at least I would like to have around $8,000 worth of inventory. And one of these days I'm gonna double check and see what inventory I have. After all of my Christmas shows, I probably only have maybe $1,000 worth of inventory left, if that. So I'm gonna watch for some of that. The other thing is I went through the spreadsheet, and I did a horrible job of keeping track of some stuff, but I went back through, added up what I made at the shows that I did, and I figured out between the shows, some commissioned items, some things I sold, I made around $6,500 last year through the crochet business. Maybe even a little more, because there were things I know I didn't get written down. So for me, that's great. I love that. Now, the one thing, I didn't keep as good a track of my expenses, but I believe my expenses were probably around 25% of that. So, that's a good deal. For my world and all that I have going on, I think that is a fabulous deal. So that kind of ties up last year with the markets and getting ready for this year. I have 2 markets already scheduled. One of them is February 15th. I really wish it was the week before, but couldn't get that date, or the event planner didn't get that date. So, but that's a big one. They're going to have 50 vendors, and for my area, 50 vendors is really good. It's going to be in 2 separate buildings. So I'm hoping we're going to have a nice weekend for that. And then I have one scheduled in May, which is a brand new event. And so I'm hoping that that's going to be a really good one too. So I'm looking through the events that I did last year, getting some of those set up for this year. If I'm going to go back, there's a couple that I probably won't do. If we're talking income wise, the best event I had was the Apple Popcorn Festival over in Brookston, Indiana, and I made $1,300 that day. The worst festival I had was it was out in Burnettsville, Indiana. Was that the one? No. I went to one over in the next county over in Peru, or Miami County. Literally, I think I made $60. I paid my booth fee, and I came home with $20 in my pocket. That is a rarity. I always come home with more than that, but that was just a not so good show. So I don't know that I'll do that one again, but there are some other things I'm going to pick up. I'm going to try some new patterns. I'm going to add some things to my booth that is not plushies, because sometimes I feel like I'm missing an entire crowd. So I'm looking for some things to add. I want to have 1 or 2 dog sweaters done by February, because we are up here in Indiana and it does stay cold until, you know, sometimes April, you know. And you know, people that have the small dogs, and they'll put little sweaters or dresses or stuff on them. And so I'm going to try. I'm not going to make a ton. I'm going to make a couple, see how they do. And so I'm looking around to see what else could be added, and not things that are expensive. I'm not going to do shawls, because you have to sell those at such a price that they're not going to sell. But I have a few ideas, and as I kind of get those together, I'll let you know. I actually have one finished object. I have some things I didn't bring with me to work, and I'll tell you about those in a minute. But this is a flower, little flower pattern. I've had the pattern for quite some time. And I just figured easy, simple, mindless, except theirs didn't have mouths on them, on their faces. And they're just little. I made 10 of them. I don't have all 10 of them with me. And I got a couple more in my bag. This one I put kind of a squirrely little mouth on. I figured these would be a nice something to put in my $5 or $6 basket. You know, this can actually, you know, almost be done with scrap yarn, especially the petals. Wonderful little pattern, very easy, minimal sew. I had to sew the head to the body and the leaf. That's the only thing. The petals are surface crocheted. You do a back loop only row, and then you surface crochet in that front loop for those. So that's the one finished object I brought with me. I have started on my hats and scarf donations for next year. I mean, if someone comes up and says, hey, do you have any? Then yeah, I do have a couple. But I'm starting my hat and scarf stockpile for next fall. I sent out probably over 100 sets, probably close to 150. Hats, scarves, some of them had mittens, you know, some were in sets, some were individual. They went to Rose at Rose Likes Crochet. If you don't watch her, she's fabulous. For the Wings, the domestic violence shelter up in her area near Chicago. They also went to K&K Crochet. Hi, gals. Out east for Bumblebee Mountain. It's Bumblebee Mountain something. It's a project they do. They hand out hats. They do some lap blankets for the nursing homes. And then I took a huge box full over to our local Salvation Army. We have a very large homeless population. I also gave some to the mental health center, who has a homeless outreach for those that are living in the tent cities. And so they do a backpack program. So a bunch of mine went there. So about 150 sets, or 100, you know. So I'm going to try and do a better job at keeping track of those this year, so I know what goes out, how many I sent where, what I've donated, what I've given away. So anyway, I think that might get us all caught up. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. Come back. Find me again if you stumbled upon me. I promise to do better. I absolutely promise. And so, hang out with me. We'll do some crocheting this year. Since my office is nice and quiet, we'll find some things to do here, and I'll drag stuff in. You know, for some of you that know, that watch me, when my brother lived in the upstairs part of my house, and when he had a stroke, I had to move him downstairs. So my craft room with all my yarn and stuff went upstairs. And then my kids got into some financial issues, so I had to dismantle my craft room. Some of my yarn is in my garage, but I have like shelves like stashed in every corner in my living room and part of my bedroom. I have yarn. And so if it gets too bad, I'm going to start stashing yarn here in my office, because I have a couple of empty cupboards and some empty shelves. And, you know, I could just run away from home and hang out in my office. I'll just put a rocking chair in here and we'll be all good. But so if you start to see stashes of yarn in my office, don't question it. I've outgrown my space at my house. And I have done some yarn shopping lately. Oh my goodness. They have had some really good sales. I hope that you all hit some good sales. I'll try and keep you updated on what I find. So anyway, I know this is a long video, isn't it? So anyway, enjoy, subscribe, come back, and I will see you the next time. Crochet away, everybody.